One of the most critical success factors for any fitness goal is to follow a good progression template. And let me explain you why. Starting out in any fitness area have never been more easy than today. And the numbers of people with a gym membership is also increasing all the time. However, starting out is one thing, sticking to the path and getting the results you want is another thing. Facts are that more than 50% of the people with a gym membership never shows up in the gym. And you have to ask yourself how that can be. Is it because that people after they purchase suddenly lose their interest in becoming fitter? Or could it be that after some time of trying they don't see the results they were looking for? So again, starting out isn't difficult, and especially not with all the options we have today. But sticking to the path and getting the results you want is another thing. And exactly due to that, you need to have a very good progression plan. Before we start, let me just mention some of the most common mistakes when it comes to progression. Maybe you can recognize yourself in some of the situations. Starting out too hard is probably the most common mistake. Many starts out very enthusiastic the first couple of weeks, but then the gas leaves the balloon. The main results of such behavior is early fatigue and thereby loss of interest, or even worse, injuries, as your body is not ready for the exercise you throw at it. Plateau in your progression is another common issue. What happens is that after some weeks or months, you stop to see any new results and thereby lose motivation. Being able to create progression templates that can break through plateaus is what makes the difference between a coach and a good coach. Progressing linear will only last for some time, and you therefore need different exercises and movement patterns to continue to develop. Okay, now let's have a look at how you will work with progression for pull-ups. On the highest level, I'm working with 3 components for progression, and they are base strength, mechanics, and power. Let me go through each of them briefly. In order to achieve our goal of doing pull-ups or increase the amount, we need to make sure that we have the sufficient base strength in place. Said in another way, if we can't hang in our arms, there's no way that we can do a pull-up. And we can only do more pull-ups if we can hang longer time in our arms. Therefore, the first couple of weeks we will do exercises that will build our base strength in the different muscles we need for pull-ups. And I referred to this in an earlier chapter as focusing on the weak links. When you have developed a good base strength, meaning that each link is strong enough, I will have you working on linking them together, and by that focusing on the mechanics. What it means is that you will move away from focusing on specific parts and more focusing on the complete movement, but with some modifications. The final step is power. After the 2 first steps, you have built strength in the complete chain, and your muscles know the mechanics. From there, you will work on power, which is needed for the muscle contraction to happen fast enough and with the needed power for a pull-up. If we then move a bit further down in the progression plan, there will be 4 ways in which you will work with the actual exercises. And they are working towards a set number of repetitions, working towards a fixed time frame, slow movements, and fast movements. Let's have a closer look on these. Working with repetition is the most common way to work with strength. After a test of your current level, the amount of repetition will be calculated out from that. When you work with time, I will ask you to do as many repetitions or hold a specific position during a set time frame. Often the exercises will be lighter in order not to fatigue too fast. Where the repetitions are focusing on pure strength, this type of workout will focus more on endurance. Slow movements will increase the muscle's time under tension, which is a key element for muscles to grow stronger. Furthermore, it's a good way to really master the exercises. The final component is fast movements, where we focus on explosiveness. Without this element, you will never be able to get your first pull-up. And for those of you who want to increase your numbers, the muscle need to be trained to more efficiently use the energy system that delivers the explosiveness. These are the strategies behind the progression template that I have used to build this 12-week pull-up course. Of course, the selected exercises are also a part of the plan. Without a careful selection of those, the plan wouldn't be any good. Before we end this lesson, let's just have a look at how the program is designed for each week and what you should pay attention to. Every week I will explain the program in details, but let's just have an overall look on how the weekly program looks like. For each week, you will have a plan like this one. On the right hand side you find the week number and a short explanation about the week, meaning what to focus on and what's new for this week. Each week will have 3 sessions marked with numbers. It is important that you rest minimum 1 day in between each session, so a possible schedule could be to do session 1 on Mondays, session 2 on Wednesdays and session 3 on Fridays. Next to the session number you will find an estimated duration of the workout. But please notice, this is not including the warm-up, which will take around 5 to 10 minutes. Further down, the actual workout is described, and to the right you will find 1 or 2 icons. The icons illustrate how the workout is carried out and what you should focus on. For more details, there are also explanations in the bottom of the page. As mentioned earlier, I will also explain you what to focus on for each session, so things should be pretty straightforward. As a final note on progression, I would like to mention that no matter how carefully a progression plan is done, you cannot expect all people to respond identically to it. Factors like gender, age, body composition, diet, stress and quality of sleep will have impact on your progression. During the course, I will therefore advise you what to do if you don't see the expected results.